Hello, in this lesson we're going to go over how old are you in Japanese, nansai desu ka? I'm gonna preface this with the fact that I'm going to go over a lot of things in here. So I'm gonna go over some of the ages that have a different pronunciation, mainly because there are quite a few and nobody ever told me about all of them. You can't just say ichisai 1 years old. There's a different pronunciation. There's a special pronunciation for a lot of them. We're also going to go over 4 and 7, which numbers to use with those. We are not going to go over things like how many months old yet because we've not done the word for month. We will go over that in a later lesson, just not in this one. I will also go over a more formal way of saying how old are you. This is not the way I recommend learning for now because pretty much all material says to learn nansai desu ka, simply how old are you. Okay, let's go. So firstly, in general, it's not rude in Nihon, in Japan, to ask somebody's age. Though like with anything, this doesn't mean you can't do it in a rude way. So in Nihon, respect for those older than you is really, really important. It's an important part of daily life, culture, and therefore it is important to know people's age. So unlike in England, where we don't need to know someone's age, it's kind of considered rude to ask someone older than you or someone you think is older, their age. In Japan, it is important because you need to know whether you need to use honorific speech with them. Age correlates to how you speak to someone in Japan, so you need to know their age. Okay, let's just go over ages 1 to 10 just so you can see some of these pronunciations. Sai is age, years old. It's the counter for years of your life. So if we add it onto the end of a number, we have age, we have blah 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 years old. So 1 years old is not ichisai, it's isai. This is one of the ones no one told me, or maybe they did and I forgot, let's be honest. But it's not ichisai, it's isai. 2 years old follows the pattern of number plus years old. Nisai. 3 years old. Sansai. 4 years old. Yonsai, not shisai. Because she is associated with death in Japan, if you said shisai, it kind of sounds like age of death. 5 years old, gosai. 6 years old, rokusai. 7 years old, nanasai, not shichisai, nanasai. 8 years old, hasai, not hachisai, hasai. They really like to shorten hachi to ha, so we see this in 800 as well. Instead of hachihyaku, it's hapyaku. It's kind of, they just change 8 quite a lot. 9 years old, kyusai. 10 years old, jusai. So in this case, we've got the little, I like to call it the little su, which extends the next consonant. So jusai. It's kind of like in this word, there's 2 syllables, ju, sai. However, when we have this little consonant extending, it becomes, you add like an S onto the end of the first syllable as well. So jusai, jusai, jusai. It's kind of hard to say, jusai. Anyway, the reason I've gone through all of these is because this is how you're going to end all of your numbers that end in this. So what I mean by that is when you say 18, you are going to say 18, not 18. Okay, let's actually get on to the important bit. What age are you? Nansai desu ka? Nan, what? Sai, age / age counter. Desu ka. Desu ka, des is, are. In this case, we're going for are you. The are you is just kind of like, it's obviously directed to whoever you're talking to or whoever you're talking about. If you really wanted to say you could say anata wa nansai desu ka. If you wanted to say how old is she, kanojo wa nansai desu ka. Got the ka particle on the end, asking a question. So nansai desu ka, and then I am X years old. So X just being however many years old here. X your age or the person's age. Sai, age/age counter. Des, am in this case, or I don't know if you're talking about someone else, is. Des being is, am, are, all of them, they don't conjugate des. So, X, sai, des. So maybe something like, 私は25歳です。I am 25 years old. 私は34歳です。I am 34 years old. 彼は5歳です。He is 5 years old. Okay, and here we have a dialogue. So we have one person, Layla, saying, あなたは何歳ですか? How old are you? 私は21歳です。I am 21 years old. So let's look at some of the divergent numbers when counting. So we have 1 years old, 1歳. 4 years old, not really divergent, but you never know whether it's yon or nana, yon or she. So 4歳. 4 years old, 4歳. 7 years old, 7歳. 8 years old, 8歳. 10 years old, 10歳. 11 years old, 11歳, because we've got 10, 10, and then 1歳. It finishes with this 1, not 1歳, 1歳. 18 years old, 18歳. 10, 10, 8歳. It always ends in whatever the 1 to 10 number is, so 8歳. 8, 8歳. 20 years old. 20 is hatachi. It's a special number. In Japanese, it's kind of like when you become an adult, so they use a special number for it. Hatachi. 80 years old. So just so you don't try and say like hasju or something like that, hachiju sai. It only gets shortened when it's next to the sai. So hachiju sai, not hasai jusai or something like that. 100 years old, 100歳. 100 is 100, 100歳. So notes, I think I've just gone over all of them. 20 is a special age. In Nihon, at 20 you're considered an otona, an adult. Therefore, it uses a special word, hatachi. Ages ending in 1 are isai, not ichisai, 4, 4, 7, 7, and also 8, hasai. Other things you may hear. You may hear oikutsu desu ka or ikutsu desu ka. If it's a more formal way of asking how old are you, when learning Nihongo, you have to so the standard is to learn nansai desu ka, which is what I recommend memorizing. And it's what we'll use in this course. Like most of the books are going to teach you nansai desu ka as a beginner. However, if you want to be extra careful, go ahead and memorize oikutsu desu ka or ikutsu desu ka as an extra phrase. The response to this is still X sai desu. It's not like ichi oikutsu or something like that. It's just X sai desu. It's kind of just honorifics. Honorific Japanese just kind of sounds like its own different language. I have a student who called it horrific Japanese because it really is like just learning a whole lot of new words for the honorifics, which, you know what, a lot of languages have anyway when you have to talk formally, but it just kind of sounds a bit different. If you're speaking to someone a lot older than you and you really, really want to show them some respect, you can use this phrase. However, nansai desu ka is fine. It's what everyone teaches. You're good. Okay, I'm gonna say some ages and I'm gonna give you about 3 seconds to register what I'm saying and try and translate it to English, and then I'm going to reveal the answer. So, let's go. 5歳です. 5 years old. 24歳です. 24 years old. 48歳です. 48 years old. 91歳です. 91 years old. 87歳です. 87 years old. 11歳です。11 years old. 22歳です。22 years old. Okay, finally, in the comments, I would like you to respond to this question. 何歳ですか? In Japanese, please write it in hiragana. You can make up an age if you don't feel comfortable writing your age on here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.